Hello, everybody, and welcome to Networking Live today. I am so excited to be joined with Nina today. I had the honor and the privilege of actually meeting her through networking here on LinkedIn. And so this is a perfect example of why I wanted to start Networking Live and be able to have this time with folks, a meaningful time. So again, thank you to everyone in the audience for joining. Please feel free, if you are live today, go ahead and share your name and where you're tuning in from. With that, I will give Nina a second to introduce herself before we jump into our Networking Live questions.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be starting my afternoon like this. So happy afternoon for those who are in this time zone. My name is Nina Iliza. I work as a senior associate at KPMG. And my background has been in community work and social impact. And recently I've just pivoted actually to do that from a different lens. So it's been an exciting journey so far.
See, Nina, I love that because you talk about pivoting even within the same career field, because it's such a beautiful thing to, I think people always think that a pivot means you're going to a completely different field. But like you just said, you pivoted within the same field, but doing it with a different lens. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's just such an important nugget. All right, here we go. Our first question today. We keep this quick, keep it speedy. It's the speed networking. But the first question, what is one thing we should know about you professionally?
This is a good question because I don't feel like I've ever really thought about how I come off professionally, which I probably should. But the first thing that came to mind was my willingness to grow and learn. It really stems from my curiosity. I just want to know things. And I'm not afraid to raise my hand and ask questions. No question is stupid. We've all learned that in school. But it's always hard to implement it because you're like, well, should I know this? Should I not? But you don't know what you don't know. So professionally, I'm always willing to learn more and figure out how things are working kind of in the big back end to see the bigger picture. I'm always curious to see the bigger picture because I think that's how you can really start to implement the smaller steps. So yeah, I believe professionally, always willing to grow, always willing to learn.
I love that because I feel like growth and learning is the key to really everything, because the more that you know, the more you can grow, the more you can contribute to a team, the more that you can contribute to your own knowledge and things of that nature. And so I love that that's what you said. The major thing you want everybody to know about you is growth and curiosity. And then I love how you tied it to not only like the high level of like, oh, this is what's happening, but also on the macro level of saying, I want to know how it works behind the scenes. Like, get me in the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, we've got our second question coming up here. And this question, this is my favorite. I love asking this because I'm curious about everyone who comes on the show. And it's, what's your current networking goal or an area you're looking to learn more about?
One thing, because I've watched these networking lives, so shout out to you, thank you. And one thing that I've learned or have heard from others, it's sort of like the different backgrounds that everyone comes from. And I'm interested in folks who have had a sort of change, or, I mean, not to, go back to the word pivot, but a sort of restructure in their career and their lives. I think it's interesting when you're, maybe have branded yourself as one thing and everybody associates one thing with you because that's what they've seen you as. And then to kind of decide to do something else. That seems so difficult to me. Like, how do you just say, like, you know what, I'm doing this now? And so I want to know who has done that. How have you done that? How have you dealt with that sort of in your personal life and even, as the way it reflects on other people? So I'm interested and really fascinated to hear folks who are just like, this is something I want to do, and therefore I'm going to relearn, I'm going to reconnect, I'm going to just restart from experience. I hate to say start from scratch. So I'm going to start from experience and completely take on something new. yeah, that's just so fascinating. So if anybody has done that or has experience in that, I'm dying to hear how you did it.
I love it. Well, my favorite thing that you said just now is start from experience, right? Because that's the thing. It's like the experiences just continue to build and build and build, and it's not starting from scratch. Like you're absolutely right. And I'm excited to see because I hear a lot of people like after these watching the replay and things and kind of see who reaches out to you, who talks about like starting from experience. I'll share just like me personally, I had a journey of change within my career, right? Going from working in the nonprofit sector and being a development director over to doing corporate philanthropy. And it was a journey, right? Because people had historically seen me as a fundraiser. I was the person asking for money, advocating for the org. And kind of like you shared earlier, you had a shift that was just a different lens. And so I loved how you put that so much. Now I think I'm going to borrow that from you.
I probably stole it from someone else too. So yes, we're all just sharing and caring.
I'm going to borrow that from you and say that I went from looking at impact from the lens of I'm at the nonprofit and I'm raising money to make the impact to I'm at the company and I'm trying to make an impact by building those mutually beneficial relationships. And so, but it was a shift, right? I had to rebrand myself almost, and at the same time, I moved cities, and so it was a major shift. But what else before we move to the next question? Do you have any other?
What else am I looking to learn from folks? A good thing is, or a curious thing that I thought of is folks who might be juggling more than one thing. So, in the spirit of like, pivoting, you could be doing something as your career and then something else as like your passion, right? But not necessarily a full-time entrepreneur. So I feel like I have so many interests and I kind of want to do it all. So I often have to reel myself back in, but I'm really curious to like, okay, well, maybe this is your 9 to 5 and this is your passion and then this is your hobby and then this is how do you balance all of that? How do folks do it? Because I feel like I've tried and that's it, tried. So the success part, I'm still working on that. So I'm curious about those who have reached that, who have successfully been able to balance a few things between whether it's different incomes, different revenues and streams of incomes, or just, different things that drive you and separating that from your 9 to 5.
Yeah, and I will be interested to hear from anyone who responds to that as well, because as you know, I have two, but I don't necessarily think I'm perfect at it. I don't think I have figured out like the exact balance or how to do it. But I will say the biggest thing is time blocking, is being able to know, okay, I am fully focused, at my corporate philanthropy role right now, during these specific times. But then being able to say, oh, okay, this is when in the evening or on the weekend or something when I'm going to carve out time, for my coaching. And so it is very interesting. I see so many people these days doing two things and I'm like, how is this working? How is this working? And hold on, I want to go to the chat because I see Charlene's here. Hey girl, good to see you today. Saying she loves this combo. She's going to be on Networking Live one day, so you all should get ready.
Yeah, I see that PMP. I might need to. Okay, Charlene, out. Okay, good to know. So what this networking thing's about.
Connect for sure. And I think we're all in the same city, right? Yeah. Because she's in Chicago too. You're in Chicago. I'm in Chicago. But yes, I will say hands down, one of the smartest people I know. And I can't wait for her to be on here as well. But yes, time blocking, other things like that really, really, really help. Thank you for throwing that in the chat. All right. I like to keep it speedy and we are right on time here coming to our final question, 5 minutes per question. But this next question, what advice do you have for people looking to build their network?
Good question. I think one of the best things to do is just do it. So often, like, just do that outreach. Just ping that person, send them a message. I've heard actually often folks who are like, oh, well, I'm afraid to talk to that person because they're out of my league or they're doing that. I'm like, we are people. We are all people. And so same way that I've met many people, just sliding into their network, into the LinkedIn DM and just, also with intention, being able to do it with intention, because oftentimes people are probably bombarded with a lot of messages between work and LinkedIn and just life in general. So being able to be intentional with somebody else's time as well as your own. So if there is somebody you're looking to connect with and build that network, why are you trying to connect with them? There is a reason. So be able to articulate that to them and let them know that, okay, well, this person means business. They don't just want to kiki on LinkedIn. And also, I've noticed that people like when they are reached out to, because I feel like people have things to share that they want to share. So when somebody asks you like, oh, tell me how you did this really cool thing, they're looking to share that. So I think more oftentimes folks will be willing to connect with you. It's just a matter of actually sending that message and being the first to send that message. There's no shame in being like, well, I want to talk to this person, so I'm going to talk to this person. So sometimes the solution is really simple, hard in execution, but maybe a little simpler than we think.
Nina, I love it. It's like, and I appreciate that you acknowledge that, like, it sounds simple, but then sometimes we get scared in the execution. So as you were talking, the comments were rolling in. I mean, you were getting people going. So first, I'm going to start up here with Kelly, because she was talking about the second question, which is the time blocking. Or not the time blocking, but she had, both at the same time as well, and takes intention to manage. So when she had a full-time job and coach,
thank you for that, Kelly.
Having that intention. And also, Kelly, I'm so excited to see you. I feel like this is like my friend circle here. I'm pumped. And then of course, Charlene's over here like, yes, can't wait to connect. This is what Networking Live is all about, bringing us together. And then Kelly chimed in with a just do it.
Yes. Okay.
Just do it. When it comes to the being intentional, when it comes to the reaching out to folks. And, Nina, I loved what you said about, reach out to people because they like it, but also be sure to share why. I can't even say how many times on LinkedIn somebody reaches out and I'm like, oh, well, now I'm curious. So I always write back and say, well, can you share with me, what about my page made you want to connect? Because then we can really start to build. So I love that you said that. And then we've got one more comment here. Again, this intentionality, that's the theme today. That is
a recurring theme. I love it.
That is the theme. I love it, love it, love it. Well, okay, we've got 2 minutes left. And so I want to give you an opportunity if you have any parting thoughts of wisdom that you want to share.
I'm just going to thank you and show you a lot of gratitude, in the spirit of being thankful with the holiday coming up. I definitely just slid in your DMs and was like, I don't know if that's the professional way. What's the professional way of saying I inboxed you in LinkedIn? I inboxed you. And I really appreciate how receptive you were and how we were able to build this, and I could come on here and just connect with other people. It's really nice to be received as well. So granted, people are, excited when somebody reaches out to them, but when you reach out to somebody and then they come back to you, authentic and are able to actually talk to you like homies, like we're friends. And I think the women who commented are Black women. And I think we all understand how important, especially if they're in the corporate world, we know how important it is to sort of build that sisterhood, even with folks who don't directly work with me, but outside, which is why, we keep talking networking, intention, all of those things I appreciate from you. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I was glad when I got your DM. I've been thankful every single time that we've connected. And, we do similar work in our corporate world and can support and help each other. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we met through LinkedIn. I'm thankful that we had this time. And I'm thankful for every conversation we have had. And so with that, I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you to the audience. Thank you all for being here today and interacting. Oh, my goodness. I can't help but pop up audience chat. Yes. I just can't help it. When I figured out this platform could do it, I was like, always learning something new about her. Yep. Always. I'm learning about myself too every day. That's the thing. But yes, I just have so much gratitude for you, Nina, for coming on live with me, for everyone in the audience, for being open and being chatty with us today. And you know what? We don't have to be professional. Slide in the DM. Hey. Be intentional in those DMs on LinkedIn, because that is where you meet people. So thank you, Kelly. And thank you,
Thank
everyone here
you.
today. We will see you next week, Tuesday, same time at noon for more Networking Live.
Whoop, whoop.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all.